What's up, YouTube friends? I'm Brian Hewitt at Hewitt Films. Today we're doing another story on the Heidi Allen case. Heidi Allen was kidnapped April 3rd, 1994 at this convenience store that used to be called the D&W. I'm going to go around and show you guys some of the locations about the Heidi Allen case. Also, we have a special guest on Hewitt Films, so stay tuned.
Now, new information has led investigators to a wooded area in Mexico that could potentially fill in some gaps in the 1994 disappearance of Heidi Allen. Federal Public Defender Lisa Peebles says they received a tip from a nearby neighbor that there was a cabin just across the street near Rice Road where Allen may have been buried. When investigators arrived on scene, it was clear that the scene was tampered with.
What looked to be an area that was recently torn up, including wood, floorboards, mattresses, various other debris, and it appeared, based on what we saw, that it had recently been disturbed.
Peebles says she does not know when the area was torn up, but finding these new details could bring us closer to what actually happened.
It really coincides with what Tonya Priest had originally told sheriff's investigators when she was interviewed about admissions made by an individual named James Steen as to what they did with Heidi Allen.
Investigators were here for the past couple of hours, and since then they have left the scene. But we do know now that they're placing a deputy here overnight just to make sure the scene is secure. And tomorrow morning they will start a more detailed search. Reporting in Mexico, I'm Sarah Beth Ackerman.
Tonya, thanks for coming in. I'm going to start back in 2006 with that moment.
Okay.
In the trailer with Jay Steen and Vicky Steen.
Okay.
Vicky was not Vicky Steen then, but take me back to that day. What day was it about, and what were you doing?
It was early spring. We had just gotten home from work. I dropped her off. She went in and made Thumper some scrambled eggs and some toast, and then we had walked into the back. Their trailer had the living room in the back. Thumper was in there watching the news, and we just started talking. Something came across the news about Heidi, and Vicky and I were actually talking amongst ourselves, and we were just basically making a comment about we wonder what happened to her. Once we had said that, James Steen became irate. He turned around and said, "You want to effing know what happened to her?" We were like, "Well, yeah." And he just started blurting it out. He said that him, Michael Bohr, and Roger had taken Michael Bohr's van early in the morning to the store. He said they pulled up between the double doors and left the back doors open, and Mike was in the vehicle with the van running.
At the store.
At the store. And that he had gone into the side door. Roger went into the front to distract her. He said when he went in around the counter to get her, he grabbed her like this. He said, "I grabbed her like this." He said, "Once I grabbed her like this," he said, "Roger jumped over the counter, proceeded to grab her too. They dragged her out the side door." Then he laughed and said he hit the van real hard with her. Once they hit the van real hard, he said, Mike took off like a bat out of hell. He said she fought for her life, went to Jen's, and they weren't supposed to go to Jen's, but they did. And when they got to Jen's, Jen was pretty upset, flipping out that they had brought her there. He said then they beat her with whatever they could find in the garage. He said then they wrapped her up, and then he laughed again. He said when we took her across the road, we almost got caught by an oncoming car. He said because we couldn't get her into the thicket. We asked why it happened, and he said there was big guys involved. We tried getting the names out of him. He would not tell us. Then we asked him about the innocent man in jail, and he said, "Not my problem." That's what he said. And after a while of, asking him these questions, I then asked him, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And then he kept saying, "If you don't believe me," because me and Vicky were like, "Yeah, right, Thumper." Because Thumper always portrayed himself as a good guy. So we were like, "You didn't do this." And he's like, "You don't know me very well." He says, "And if you don't believe me, go F and ask Jennifer. She was there." So at that point, I'm getting frustrated, and I got up to leave. And the whole time I'm walking out of it, he's screaming, "If you don't believe me, go look. And if you go look," he said, "I'll have to kill both of you two because then you'll be witnesses." Years before this, I had already had a premonition that Mike had done it and Roger had done it. And when James was telling me this, I did not tell him that I already knew Mike and Roger were involved in it. I just kind of kept my mouth shut and let him keep talking. I didn't feed him anything. Years before that, I had caught on to Roger. I picked him up on a property on 69.
About when? What?
I want to say 1996, 97.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I picked him up with Michael West on 69 at that dumpy place on 69 there.
This is Roger Breckenridge.
Yep, and I kept telling my husband at the time, said, Shaw, don't let him in the truck. He had something to do with Heidi, and I was arguing with him about this. Finally, he lets Roger in the truck, and I start giving it to Roger, asking him about Heidi, and he had the same response that she was a rat, and he kept looking out the window. By the time we got to Fulton and dropped him off and he got out, everybody looked at me and said he had something to do with it.
Well, guys, this is Rice Road. This is where supposedly the 3 new suspects in the Heidi Allen case took Heidi Allen, beat her in a garage, and dismembered her body, and then moved her to a cabin across the road from the garage. We're gonna go take a look at the garage now. Guys, for this next clip, I just wanted you guys to know that the audio had some kind of interference, and I'm not sure exactly what happened. I cleaned it up the best I could, but there's these beeping noises throughout the interview part of this video. So I'm very sorry about that. There was nothing I could do. It was a loaner camera, and the settings could have been screwy. It could have been near something that caused the interference. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but check it out, and trust me, watching the interview is worth it. I know the sounds, the little beeping sounds will be annoying, but the interview is well worth it. What's up, YouTube friends? Brian Hewitt here with Richard Thibodeau, and we're going to discuss the case about Heidi Allen and his brother. Richard Thibodeau, Brian.
Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir. Now, I wanted to talk about what you want to talk about, not what the news wants to hear.
Right.
Is there anything that you want to discuss or talk about the case?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be discussed. It's about what the DA says. It's about what happened to Heidi Allen, which we have no idea what happened to her. The DA is saying that my brother did it. Well, he did not do it. He was home in bed. And this is what I've been trying to say for many, many years, that he was home in bed sleeping. I woke him up that morning. He was home all day long. He did not leave his house. So how could he possibly kidnap Heidi Allen? And the DA saying, well, he did do it. Oh, the DA's lying. We were framed. We did not have nothing to do with the kidnapping of Heidi Allen. They set us up. For what reason? I have no idea. They're hiding something. We're not. They are. And they cannot tell the truth. Themselves cannot tell the truth till this day.
The thing I do want to pick up, I did find out, I read somewhere that Gary was actually at a friend's house drinking the night before, I heard.
Well, that's a possibility. I didn't know nothing about that, but that's a possibility. He had friends. He probably did drink with one of his friends the night before.
Yeah, the night before.
Yes. And then he went home. Yeah.
So how does a guy go out with a friend's drinking or at a friend's house and then wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go do a kidnapping? It makes no sense to me.
No, he would never do that, because if he was out drinking, he wouldn't even have the ambition to get up out of bed, which he didn't. Because where I called him that morning, he was home. And this happened way before I called him. And he was home then when I called him. It was well after 10 o'clock in the morning. And she was already gone. That's not what they're telling you. They're telling you other lies. The DA is. I just can't understand how they could do this to a person, set someone up, and actually take their life away from them for something he didn't even do. What kind of person or persons do things like this? Can't be very honest.
I agree. The day that you said you were arrested, the guy who was running the case there, his name was Bob Wheeler.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, do you have anything to talk about about him and about like the day you were arrested?
Well, when they arrested me, they had a squad of cars out there and the guns drawn and all that. Well, it started out when I went, they call it an interview. Well, it wasn't an interview, it was them trying to accuse me of kidnapping Heidi Allen. After I went on the search.
Because you guys originally were going to go search, you guys were part of the search team, right?
Yes, we did. Yep, we searched all right road. Yes, we did. We went there, searched it. I mean, there was a whole bunch of us in my van. We left the search center. As far as I know, there was a lot of people in my van. And I heard that there was a sheriff in my van. After I got back, there was a sheriff in my van. But I didn't know who he was. And still this day, I don't know who he was. And now all of a sudden, we're sitting at the search center, and we're all talking. I had just met Brett Law. I never knew who he was either, so. And, sitting at a table, shooting the shit. Then all of a sudden, someone comes up to me and says, this detective over here wants to talk to you. So I went over, and it was Bob Wheeler. He took me outside, and he wanted me to fill out this paper on what I would do about this kidnapping deal. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't. I can't fill that out. I said, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing here. So he filled it out for me, and then I went back in, and that was that. Oh, then he asked me if I would go down to the sheriff's department for an interview. So that's when I went to the sheriff's department about the interview. I went to the sheriff's department, and I was talking with Bob Wheeler and Ralph Scruton, and Wheeler was trying to state that I kidnapped Heidi Allen, more or less, telling me. And he wanted to know where Heidi was and things like that. I said, I didn't have nothing to do with that. So, I got done with the interview. It was quite some time being in there. Him questioning me and trying to put me through the 9 yards of kidnapping Heidi Allen. It wasn't right that what they did, but.
Now, did they polygraph you then, or?
Yep. That night there, I took a polygraph, and I passed it. From what I understand, I passed that with no problem. And Bob Wheeler once I left, he wanted me to come take another polygraph the following day. Well, I got a hold of some legal advisor, and he told me that I didn't have to go take another polygraph.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob Wheeler called me on the phone, and he asked me if I was coming down to take another polygraph. I says, no. I says, I don't have to go take another polygraph. I already gave you one. I don't have to give you another one. Well, he got upset and said, you ain't heard the last of me yet. And then he hung up on me. Oh, I think he was kind of a culprit there. in setting us up for this fall. And I think he was the main detective. And I believe he had more than something to do with setting us up. On my perspective. Why, I don't know. I didn't know the man, know nothing about him, but why set us up for something we didn't do?
Mm-hmm. Now you were at the when Tonya Priest came forward with the information and the case. You were at all the hearings with your brother.
Yes.
What was your take on the three new suspects?
I had no idea who they were, but from
I mean, by listening to them speak.
it seems like they knew what was going on. They knew something about the case. James Steen, Thumper, was on the stand stating that he got the van from Murtaugh's junkyard and they crushed it, and he took that van to Canada. And then when he got back, I think it was Roger Breckenridge that told him that Heidi was in that van.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he said on the stand.
Did you tell the prosecutors and the two investigators about Breckenridge's, or the possibility of Breckenridge's involvement with the disappearance of Heidi Allen? What did you tell them?
Well, what was said that day is that I worked driving, hauling cars for Murtaugh's, and that I hauled the load, got back, and it was like 2 weeks later, a week later, Roger came up to me and said something about me hauling a stolen vehicle, a van. And I said, okay. I went and asked Rich Murtaugh if that happened. He said no, that was that. Then we discussed further that it was like 8 months after that. We were at a party and Roger showed up. He was drunk and he had mentioned something about, do you know what was in that van? And I said, no, I have no idea what was in that van. And he went on the part about the remains of Heidi Allen. I went and asked Rich Murtaugh the same question. And he told me no, it wasn't.
You said that there were 2 conversations with Mr. Breckenridge about this, is that right?
The first one was him telling me I hauled a stolen vehicle.
And the second one was where? Where was that conversation? And
Oh,
when
at a
was
party.
that?
I can't remember if it was on the power lines or it's where everybody would go and there'd be a party. Then you'd be drinking. It's a keg party. I don't know if it was Happy Valley back then or if wherever it was we were at.
When was that conversation?
Oh God, 95, late 94, early 95, middle 95. I don't know exactly. I could, you know what I mean? I don't. If I could remember when I was working and where I was working and when that was going, I could be more, but I can't. I don't, sorry.
Did you tell the prosecutors that Roger Breckenridge made a number of comments about Heidi Allen's disappearance?
I can remember hearing it over at Westcott's house a couple of times, but other than that, everybody thought Roger was just blowing steam. That's all he ever did.
What did Roger say at Westcott's house and when about Heidi Allen's disappearance?
What exactly was ever said, you don't listen to Roger. Roger starts piping off. He's how do I say this without getting in trouble up here? A lot of hot air. You know what I'm saying? You never knew if he was telling you the truth. Why do you think I went to Rich Murtaugh when he told me I hauled a stolen vehicle? That's going into Canada with a stolen vehicle. I don't want to go to jail. I didn't want to go to jail back then. That's why I went right to Rich Murtaugh and asked, did I haul a stolen vehicle? And he told me no.
How many different times did Roger Breckenridge bring up the subject of Heidi Allen's disappearance with you?
Oh, I know those 2 times. It could have been more that I heard it or whatever. I never kept count.
In 2014, during your interview with the prosecutors and the 2 sheriffs, what did you tell them regarding the shipment taken to the facility? In other words, was the shipment taken directly to the shredder? Did you say
All
those
shipments are
things?
taken directly to the shredder. Some are stacked up out in the backyard, some are taken right there and ran right through. I ran a step deck trailer. So yeah, I backed up to the shredder and the crane unloaded me.
Did you tell them you were told to take the shipment that Breckenridge was talking
I
about?
drove the step deck trailer. That's where I went. I said if they would have, like I told them that day, if they would have put that van on my trailer and Heidi would have been in that van, that's where it would have went. Right to the shredder. Plain and simple. That's what I told them.
Did you tell them, the prosecutors, that you were told to take the shipment
No.
directly to
No.
the shredder?
No.
So apparently he had something to do with this. Murtaugh had something to do with it. Roger Breckenridge. Then they say Mike Bohr, but I don't know Mike Bohr. I don't even know what he has to do with the case, but apparently somehow he had something to do with it.
He's a very strange character.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he was collecting boxes of notes and just a lot of strange things that were going on then. The bracelet.
Yeah, he had always carried a briefcase, but no one knew what was inside it. He wouldn't let no one see what was inside it. Apparently he carried memorabilia of Heidi or whatever. I'm inclined to believe that they had something to do with it, but the DA, the Sheriff's Department, do not want to go near these people. For what reason? Who else is involved in this? Is it the Sheriff's Department that's involved with these guys? Drugs? I don't know. I don't know nothing about that stuff because I never knew this girl. Never knew nothing about her, nothing of her lifestyle, nothing, period. I didn't even really know her name at the time. Oh, I only found out her name after I got involved in this case. My brother would have still had his life. We still could have done things together. But they sent him with a death sentence. For what reason, I don't know. I call that murder myself. Because that's a perfect murder for the DA side. As far as I'm concerned. To shut him up, to shut this whole case down. They wouldn't let him out on medical parole because they were afraid that if he got medical help, he'd be all right and he'd be able to win his case, which I believe he could have won this case.
I agree.
And find out that he was not the person who done this.
I mean, because if someone was to kidnap someone, this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
There would have to be more than one person involved. It wouldn't be just one guy. And it never made any sense to me that Rich was found guilty, Gary was found guilty. You were found innocent.
Right.
But yet they claim that you guys were together. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get where they were coming from with that, and it's just very strange. I mean, I knew you were the last person there.
Right.
But
right.
That doesn't really prove anything. And the same thing with the van situation.
Right.
It was wiped clean of prints.
That's what gets me. Yeah, right.
I saw the picture of the van. I did a YouTube video on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, does that van look like it was wiped clean?
No. I never wiped that van clean, nothing. Matter of fact, there was a rug in it that they were interested in. But I let them have the van for 24 hours. They had it. And they went through it. They did what they had to do. They fingerprinted it. They did everything they could do to it and found nothing. I says, you're not going to find anything because she was never in the van. Never, ever in that van at all. The closest she's got to it was to look out the D&W window and look at the van. That's as close as she got to that van. Never touched it, never nothing. And I told them that. And so then after they got done with the van, they returned it to me. So, and I was working up in Syracuse, taking these big heaters, ceiling heaters off the warehouse ceiling, and sliding them in my van. Well, the rug made it hard for me to slide them in. So this friend of mine, Joey, he says, "You got to get this rug out of here." So I cut the rug out and I threw it in my burn pile. And then they were looking for the rug. They want this rug. They want this rug. Well, there's this one detective, Crony, come out. He befriended us, and he wanted to help me. It seemed like he really did want to help. But I ended up, I gave him the rug. Whatever they did with the rug, I have no idea. I don't even know if they still got it. They destroyed it, whatever. But if they would have found something in that rug, they would have come after me. I mean, but I never heard nothing about the rug, nothing about nothing after that. As far as I know, something happened to Crony. He passed away. And that seemed kind of weird. All of a sudden, he's investigating this case, and all of a sudden he passes away. Hello, what's going on here? You know, it didn't make no sense to me. But they say he passed away, so I don't know. But I've heard through the grapevines there was a lot of threats going around. People I've met over the years that they know what's going on, but they can't say because something's gonna happen to them. This is threats that were going around that I heard through different people that I have worked for, or this one person that I worked for. I guess he was in the sheriff's department. He had to get out because of the mishandling of this case. And they knew it was a setup deal, apparently, because everything was so hush-hush that no one could talk about it in the sheriff's department for some reason. I don't know why. But I know Wheeler was a nasty person. He was a nasty person. That's my feelings towards this man. Him and his partner, Scruton, Ralph Scruton, did not like them.
How old were you when this happened?
I had just turned 48. I just turned 48. It was May 25th. They arrested me. And they called that National Kidnapping Day. And then when I went to trial, they put Wheeler on the stand. They asked him when he arrested me, and all of a sudden he don't recall. It was a National Kidnapping Day, May 25th they called it. National Kidnapping Day. And he didn't recall. All of a sudden, these sheriffs don't recall anything. They can arrest you for something, but they don't recall. That's kind of a crazy deal, if you ask me. You know? Oh, God.
A lot to say.
Oh, yeah. It's, I've been so devastated since my brother passed away over this deal.
I think a lot of people have, and
they continue lying. Oakes did say that if he knew he was innocent, that he would release him. Well, yeah. I believe Oakes knows he was innocent, but he had to cover everybody else's ass, is my thought.
well, he did in all the process, and during that whole time. I mean, he just was adamant that Gary was guilty, and
Right.
he dismissed. How can they dismiss all the evidence that came forward with these 3 new suspects? How can they even dismiss that? I don't understand. I mean, they had motive, they had reason.
Yeah.
Gary, they had none.
Right.
Zero.
Right.
None.
Right.
And these guys they're all tied into each other, and,
Right.
and it just doesn't make the whole thing. When it first started coming out, and I was watching it on the news,
Right.
I was just like sitting there, like, I can't believe this is going on, and why isn't this man out of jail? I can't believe that's going on.
Right. And I couldn't believe it myself. And me knowing that we didn't do this, I'm trying to figure out how they're putting us in this scenario.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I want to bring up is the Jennifer Westcott phone call. What's your feelings on that phone call within itself? I mean, don't you think that right there should be enough evidence to at least start? I mean, she confessed that these guys brought Heidi Allen to her house in a van,
Right.
but kept her outside.
Told me that him, Michael Bohr, and Roger had taken Mike's van to the store, and that they grabbed her from the store and they brought her to your house, and he had said that you did flip out when you guys got there, and I stuck up for you, and I don't blame you for flipping out. And basically that's what he had said had happened, and that's it's not your fault though, so I knew a long time ago. I just didn't want you to think that I thought less of you.
I really in my own head dropped that shit.
Right.
I don't know, probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to get it gone.
Well, how the hell why did they even involve you or even do this? I mean,
I don't know.
You were young.
All I know is that for cocaine.
It was for cocaine. Yeah, it sounds like the area. I don't know, kiddo. I love you, and I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
Did you even know
And I couldn't get him to go.
Did you even know that this was Heidi that they brought there, and that this is what they were gonna do? You had no clue? They just showed up with her?
Yeah.
Oh, what a bad position for you. Probably scared the shit out of you.
Well, it's not even, they didn't even bring her in the house.
Yeah, that's...
They had her sit in the van.
Well, Thumper told me they took her out in the garage, and me and Vicky at this point, honestly, Jennifer, didn't believe him. And he said that they took her out in the garage and that they beat her till she died.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's what he had told me. But I mean, as long as that's all you know and everything, and I mean, the only thing you said you did was junk the van with Roger, then I wouldn't really worry about anything. And you really had no part of it, and it's kind of sad that even happened. Is that why you guys went to Florida? She knows too, so I'm letting you know. Thumper told all of them. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Everybody in the area knows. Megan, Ruben, he told me and Vicky. He even threatened to kill me and Vicky. He said that if anybody said anything, he would kill me and Vicky. And me and Vicky, you know how Thumper is. At that point, he was just a happy-go-lucky guy. I never would have thought that, Jen.
Right.
And, what'd they do, just leave her in the van when they got to your house?
Yeah.
Who actually freaking killed her?
I have no idea. It didn't happen around me.
Oh, good. At least you weren't part of that. It's bullshit that this even happened. And when was that? When the day she came up missing?
Oh, I don't remember.
No, kiddo, I love you. I wish I could just give you a hug, and I'm sure that'd make you feel better.
Alright.
Did you know everybody knew?
It bothers me to talk about it. I won't lie to you, but
Well, I know, hon, but that's why it bothers me, because it's been bothering me since Leopard told me. I was like, no way, Jennifer doesn't know. She would have talked to me and Vicky about it, because we were all very close.
No, I couldn't say anything about that. Never to anybody.
Why did
no, unless it was said to me.
Yeah, why was it? Why didn't you say anything? Because they scared you, hon?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. Well, who scared you? Roger? Probably Roger living with you?
Yeah. It was all crazy.
Yeah, well.
He hung out with all them people.
What'd they do, threaten you if you said anything?
No. I just didn't. They never said anything. Nothing was ever said to me in regards to it. And crazy.
Did you ever think about turning Roger in for it, honey?
Huh?
Did you ever think about just turning Roger in for it?
Nope.
No. They scared you that bad, huh?
I would never open a can of worms like that.
Right. Why? You hate him. He's done so much to you. You know?
And I've been through enough. I don't want to even deal with anything new.
No, I can't say as I blame you.
God almighty. I'm not doing the investigator's job. I don't get paid enough. They're going to give me a big reward.
Right.
You know? They're just going to laugh in my face and fucking, the hell out of here. What do you mean? Someone's already been convicted and blah, blah, blah.
No, did you see anything that happened during it, or just freaking, you just flipped out when you knew she was there? Oh, good for you.
I don't even think, honestly, I knew it was her.
Right.
I don't know. I was 18. I don't even barely remember. I've done a lot of drugs since then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
18 years ago. Got me.
Right. How the heck did you find out it was Heidi in the end?
I didn't. I just put two and two together.
Don't you think that should have been
Looked into?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
She failed her polygraph also.
yes, she did. They had her right there, dead to right, that she knew something. If they would have pressed her more, they would have got more out of her. But they just let her go.
I remember seeing the interview. They not only they told her they were going to let her go.
Yeah. And she knew what happened to Heidi.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what happened to Heidi. And for her to say that she don't know something, you could see it. The way she was talking, the way she expressed herself, that she knew something.
Yep.
But she wasn't going to say, because they already allowed her that she was going to be able to be set free. Yeah. No question asked, she's going to get set free.
Tell me about this conversation with Tonya Priest.
Actually, it all started on Facebook. I got a friend request from her.
When was this? A couple days ago, last week, last year?
No, it was last week.
Mm-hmm.
Last week. And she said, I'm telling you, Thumper and Roger brought that girl to your house. I said, no, they didn't, because I lived with my mother, and I'm sure that I would know if they came in there with a woman they were getting ready to kill. I never once ever seen Heidi Allen in the first place. She's like, I'm telling you right now, you know what I'm talking about. I said, Tonya, I really don't know what the hell you're talking about.
The biggest problem I have with what you're telling me is that Tonya recorded your phone calls with her. And you say that when they pulled up with the white van, and she stayed out in the van.
Well, then I'll tell you what. She chopped something, because I never said anything about a white van. I don't know anything about a white van. I was at my parents' house. I just told you that from the get-go.
Yeah, but I'm listening to the recording, and it's you on the recording
Well, I'm telling you, if you have the recording, then I was on speakerphone. There was plenty of people around my table.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you pinpoint that I said that Thumper pulled into my house with Heidi Allen in a white van?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Because that's the craziest shit I ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I got it on recording.
Oh my God. I really don't, I mean, I was, this f***ing lady, where does she even come up, what is this about? I mean, did she, where does this even originate from?
What do you mean? What does what?
How the hell do I even get involved in this? I mean, I'm completely lost in how I haven't talked to this woman forever. And she calls and tells me her ex-husband is going to run her mouth. And then now I'm admitting that there was a white van with Heidi Allen.
Yeah, that's what's on the recording. When she talks about the white van, when they pulled up, they said that they took her from the D&W in the white van.
And I said, I don't know anything about them taking her in a white van.
No, that's not what you said.
That's not what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
You remember everything else pretty good, what she records, but that part...
No, because nobody came to my house in a white van with Heidi Allen or with anybody else. On Easter Sunday, I was at my freaking mother's house. I mean, my father's still alive. I don't know if he was...
Well, she says when you get pissed off, because you get pissed off because they brought her there, and you say, yeah. She's like, well, he's like, well, you're like, well, she stayed out in the van. She never came in the house. And she says you get pissed off, you got pissed off, and I don't blame you.
I don't know. I'm lost now. I have nothing else to say. I have nothing else to say.
What do you mean?
Because, I mean, obviously I was totally fucking pranked. I mean, this bitch called and told me something she thought would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's backfiring on me that Heidi Allen was at my house. I mean, this is totally...
Why do you say it's backfiring on you?
Because you're sitting here telling me, cause you've got a problem because I've already said that Heidi Allen was in my house. And I guess if I was you, I would have a problem with that too.
Right.
But, I mean, holy for shit's sakes, I've got 5 kids. I didn't really expect to be here this long already, but,
right.
Where are we going with this?
You came in here on your own, okay, right. You're gonna leave here on your own, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But what I heard on the tape, because I just listened to it again, is you, Tonya, talking about Dean, Roger, and Bohr showing up with Heidi Allen at your house. And you saying, yeah, she never came in, she was in the van. Even if this did happen, you know, you're not in any trouble. If this happened. But you need to explain to me why you would say that.
Probably just to shut the crazy bitch up, to honestly tell you the truth. Because I mean, she was just rambling on and on.
When she's talking about them coming to your house in this white van, you also make reference to helping Roger jump the van, get rid of the van.
I said that?
Yeah.
I said I helped Roger jump the van.
Right. Yeah.
You're sure?
Positive.
Because Roger was working at the junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if I helped him junk a van, which I didn't work at all.
Yeah, you're on the tape saying that you helped Roger get rid of the van. And when they showed up, he was like, no, she didn't even come in, she stayed out in the van.
Well, then I was definitely running off at the mouth to shut that bitch up, because I really don't,
So,
honestly.
You know what, I would like to take you over to my desk, do a quick statement of what you told me about whatever happened about the Heidi Allen, what you know about it, and her Tonya calling you up, you know, anything you want to add, you know, put in there, I'd like to go do that. Have you put it down on paper and sign it, you know, so I can settle your side of the story.
Well, I mean, should I really? I mean, because this is a pretty big case. I'm not really a stupid person. I don't really think I should sign a statement until I make sure. I mean, I agree with signing a statement. What I have said is to my acknowledgement. Okay, so
we're good
I guess that's not a really big deal, but I mean, is something coming about this? I mean,
You're not in any trouble.
no, I mean,
I'm telling your story.
because for real, I honestly want to go make a visit. I haven't seen James Dean.
Let the criminals go. The criminals are still out there. That's what gets me, is they're still out there.
I mean, James Dean already killed his wife and her boyfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, that...
Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah, he's a killer. You could, if he killed his wife and her boyfriend, I mean, he is a killer, so it proves that right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But what gets me is Heidi's uncle, Russell Sturts, helped her become an informant. Now, that's endangering someone's life by helping them become an informant. For what reason? Why would she want to be an informant? Was she in trouble with the law? Something was wrong somewhere.
According to, from what things I gathered, I guess she was babysitting a kid.
Yeah.
And she was at a house drinking their drugs and things like that, and they caught her. The police caught her, and to wipe that clean, she became a CI, and that's what was told that I read.
Oh, see, I didn't know nothing about that. I had no idea. I didn't know. But I knew something had to be wrong somewhere for her to be an informant. But like I said, when my story hasn't changed in 25 years. Yes, I did go to the D&W store. Yes, I did buy cigarettes. I did leave. I did not take her with me. I'm at home, got my kids. Went to Teresa's grandmother's for Easter, spent the day there. That was my day.
Conclude this interview with Richard Thibodeau. Thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you for coming.
And we'll be in touch, and we'll have some further interviews in the future.
Sure. Yes, we will.
All right, sir.
Yes, we will. Thank you for coming. Yes.
Enjoy your day.
Yes, you too now. Thank you.
In conclusion with this video, after meeting Richard Thibodeau, I just feel so bad that he was railroaded and his brother and him were set up. And these guys didn't do anything, folks. These guys are totally innocent. Gary, may he rest in peace, and Richard, totally innocent guys. And I just think that Gary's name should be cleared, and there's people like me, there's other people out here looking into this case, and it's not going to stop. And to the people who did do this to Gary and Richard, I don't know how you guys sleep at night. I don't know how you guys go about your daily lives knowing that you ruined both these men's names, ruined their lives, and basically took a life because you want to cover up your dirty deeds. It's a terrible, terrible injustice that was done to both these men. Even though Richard was found innocent, he still had to stay in his home like it was a prison. Every day when he went out, people would look at him differently. His kids had to suffer. It's just a terrible situation. If you like this video, and there's going to be more to come, leave a like, leave a comment down below. Please subscribe to Hewitt Films. Have a good day.